So I always kind of knew I wanted to go into teaching. I wasn't sure what path I wanted to take. So before I decided to go to university, I did a lot of substitute teaching and TA work. So I did a bit in SEN, some primary schools and secondary schools, and I was like, okay, I definitely want to do SEN. I definitely like primary more. So I found the bridge through the government website. I love the fact that you're in the school a lot of the time, that you have multiple different placements, that you have the element of a focus on SEN, which is something that I wanted to explore. I was quite nervous on my first day. The whole process has just been so much better than I thought it was going to. I felt so supported. My first day here was just really welcoming. Always you're instantly replied to if you're uncertain on something.
It is a lot of work. I think you have to be quite organised, but it's really rewarding. And I think with this course, particularly than any other course, you get a lot more opportunities than if you just did a standard PGCE course, because you do have the option to go to a special needs school, which you don't really tend to get that, and I think it's a great experience.
Before starting the course, I was actually working at one of the bridge schools, and I never considered teaching or working within schools until I found myself working at one of the bridge schools, and I really enjoyed my time there, learnt skills and learnt a lot about myself that I didn't realise before. And then I found out that the bridge itself had a teaching school, which I was really keen to do. And speaking to people, I realised that it would be really important to do a mainstream PGC, but then kind of learn what you learn at the bridge in terms of the skill sets that you can learn within a special needs schools and bring that into mainstream settings.
I have worked as a TA for 2 years before applying for PGCE. I worked in a mainstream school and then a secondary SEN school. I much preferred the secondary SEN school, so I chose to do a pathway into teaching that included special educational needs. I googled special educational need PGCEs, and they don't do just like a straight SEN PGCE. I've learned you have to do it through like a primary pathway, and I've heard really, really good things about Goldsmiths, and then I did some research about the bridge, and I know the bridge is like triple times outstanding school, and it seemed like a really good bet. And also a lot of the unis didn't partner with specialist schools like other unis, and I thought that it was a really good sign that they partnered with like a specialist provision.
It was very relaxed. I was quite nervous because I haven't actually done a lot of interviews in my life. I didn't have to do one for my university before, so I was quite nervous, but it was a really relaxed setting, just letting them know about yourself and your prior experience, and even if you don't have any prior experience within a school or a special needs setting, just showing your interest and why the other skill sets that you have that you can bring to it.
The application process is actually quite easy and straightforward, and even the interview and the activities were quite nice and laid back, and I don't feel that it was trying to trick you. I think it was just trying to see if you were the right fit for the course. And my expectations for the day, I didn't really know what to expect, to be honest, but since I've actually got here, I think it's exceeded my expectations.
To do it, like, it's been a really good, really supportive pathway in. I would recommend it over just like a pathway through Goldsmiths, because I feel like we're with a much smaller group of people and you get much more you make, I think, better relation, not better, but you have a closer relationship with your tutors and with your peers, and you have way more like points of access, more people who are gonna be there if you have questions. And I think I'm one of 12 in this program, and if you go through like the Goldsmiths main route, I think there's like 150 people, and so this is a lot more like personal, and I found that a really supportive environment.
I think my advice would be make sure that you actually want to do it and that you are passionate about it, because I think it is a lot of extra work, and I think you need to know that you want to do it. And I think if you want to do it, all the work around it is like you don't resent doing the work because you actually quite enjoy it. So I think it's being prepared and having realistic expectations.
I'd say be confident in yourself and the things that you can bring. Don't shy away. That's one of the biggest things that I've learned, is like challenging things like self-doubt, which is hard to do, especially when you might be new to teaching or whatever, but be sure of yourself. You've been chosen for a reason and you are going to be really supported, and everyone that you're going to be working with has been in your position at some point, so everyone's there to support you. So yeah, and just you can have fun and get to know everyone, and yeah.
My advice would be to think about what you want to do at the end, and you have to know for yourself if you're someone who, you know, is intense, but it's a really good intensity and it's very hard work, but you get a lot out from it. So you have to just be mentally prepared that, yeah, it's going to take a lot of effort, but it's so worth it. And it's so supportive that any criticism you get is to help you, and you're just going to keep on improving and making improvements and get to a place where you're comfortable teaching a class, planning lessons. And I was so surprised how quickly I got to that point, and I think it's because I knew I was supported by my mentor, by my university tutor, by everyone at the Bridge. It's been so nice that I've been able to, if I'm having issues, I'm having problems, I can talk to them, and I know that it's to help me be as good as I can be. So that's been a really nice process. If you're going to go for it, I think be prepared. It's hard work, but it's a really good experience.